Hey you guys, it's MJ. How are you? I felt like going live and just sharing a bit of a collective energy update. What I'm intuiting with this, certainly the shift, the astrological or planetary shift of Uranus moving into Taurus. So it's been in Aries, it's been in my sign for the last 7 years. And I cannot tell you the expansion and the sort of awareness growth over these last 7 years. It's just been a total transformation. My value system is different. I'm different. I look different. I feel different. How I'm relating to people is completely different. The people that I'm working with is different. The amount of money that I'm making is different. Like, I'm actually joyful. I'm actually free. I actually feel happy and like proud of who I am and a radiant being. And I know that I'm doing what I'm meant to be doing. And I had this cool insight about like, even though it's all weird and fucked up and paradoxical when you're like in the shit of like trying to sort yourself out, and then suddenly when you really recognize that you're in momentum and you're moving in the flow in your dream and you are creating the vision and you are living your truth, you know it because you do know who you are. We get heavily programmed and indoctrinated out of knowing the truth of our own self. But once you land into yourself, you absolutely know who you are. I know this is what I'm meant to be doing. I've always known it's what I've meant to be doing. It's just taken me a lot of fear layers to peel back and a lot of wounding to work through to get to the point where I'm in my alignment and I can feel that undeniably so. And that's part of my desire to share so much with you guys, is that you do know who you are. We just mostly forgot. And then when we're in our forgetfulness, we tend to act out these crazy, weird, insane patterns until we kind of go, pooh, wake up. You're your own creator. You don't need this person to create the life that you love. You don't need that person to do this. You don't need to lie to yourself about that situation. You know, like, you can just wake up to the truth of who you are and be that. And the more you get clear on that, the more everything else also becomes clear, and you have the courage and the strength to empower yourself further on your path. Now, part of the collective shift that I'm feeling into is, obviously it's aligned with my own awareness and my own shifting. But it has a lot to do with the rise of empaths and this greater awareness in a lot of fields of study around the kind of narcissistic tendency, or the sociopath, the psychopath, and these tendencies of deflection and emotional abuse, where we have a being who wants to make everything good for everybody and then a being who feeds off of that energy. So what's happening are the kind of feeders of that energy. Hey, Steven! How are you? I know, be aware, right? So the feeders, the ones who want to make everything happy, are now waking up to that abuse and having to break free from the ones who mask it. So they might pretend, or they might talk the talk, but energetically they're not. Energetically they're not actually owning their own wounds. They're projecting their wounds onto other and actually doing blame and attack. Their language might be love, light, and this, that, and the other, but energetically they're blaming and attacking and making it someone else's responsibility, someone else's fault. And they're using the victim energy. They're using the victim energy to hook in to the empathic. We Pleiadians are here. Whoop, whoop. I had my first contact with the Pleiadians in 2015. So yeah, definitely. And well, it's, you know, beings of certain vibrational frequencies, and there's an awareness with certain frequencies that there's other frequencies, and there's beings who vibe on different frequencies. And again, in the container of the oneness, all is one, all is accepted, all is where it is needed to be. And yet when we're feeling that surge of momentum, this collective energy, right, this collective, it's like mass exodus, this collective breaking free from the old story almost. It's like we're making a run for it, and now we've leapt and we're like just hooking into the other side, and that's how it feels like in my life. Any last little bit that's going to weigh me down or has the potential to take me back into that default or old pattern is now, I'm just kind of like kicking that off and being like, okay, we're gonna lose that, we're gonna get rid of that, that's okay, have a cry, get rid, blah, 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 and then hold on and then keep climbing, right? So it's like but now what I feel has anchored in is the new frequency. So now I'm feeling supported in the new frequency, and I can build from here, like a lot of us, right? It's like, now we're living it. Now we're living in that new world. We're living in that new frequency. We're living in that new earth. And so the other distorted paradigm of separation, which still loops and has codependencies and snaky energy and isn't quite conscious, isn't quite fully embodied in power, those energies, well, they're beings. We're all divine beings. It just means that beings will still work on that level for a little bit longer. But if we know we're gonna kind of continue forward, we have to be pretty diligent with letting go of the energy streams that don't serve us and don't align with us anymore. So a lot of my collective updates are literally just shifts that have happened within my own life and how I personally interpret the connection to the collective. And certainly I'm seeing reflected back, like these younger and younger generations are standing in higher moral ground, like in truth. So it's like the younger people are less and less indoctrinatable. They're less like, and at the same time, in this kind of beautiful sort of like parallel running timeline, those beings who might still be systematized, there's more and more people like us, right? There's more and more people, random nobodies, just sharing their own message and sharing their own, like broadcasting their own random world frequency out into the mass consciousness. And then the people that are still in the masses kind of bumbling through the system, they'll find more and more of us who they'll align with deep down in their soul, and then they won't have to go through the full hope. That's my vision, but that's also what's happening in my reality. So some of the younger tribe members who are coming into the Fearless Life tribe, it's like they know already, more activated, connect, not taking the char of yeah. And we know this, like, again, this is like weird intuitive knowing where I've known this deep down all along. Like I knew there'd just be this sway that eventually enough minds would wake up, and then those lights would then like have a tipping point in mass consciousness, right? And I do feel collectively, and I've been saying this for a while, but we are building momentum. We're building momentum. And this next year phase is all about anchoring in the new and building from there. So Taurian energy, yes, it's systematized. What's happening though is that that fixed, like stubborn, I'm right, I'm gonna hold it down Taurian energy, it's almost like the distorted Taurian energy is now having to be transformed. Just like my Aryan energy. My old Aryan ways was, I'm right, fuck all y'all, I'm gonna power through, blah, 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 blah. I've been impulsive, I've been careless, I've bottomed out multiple times financially, I've been pretty dicky to people in my life just by being like, sorry, I'm off. And I recognize now that's harsh. That's not necessarily, that's, very, very nice. And as in, it is what it is, but I don't want to be like that anymore. And so now that my sign has had Uranus just being like, you are going to get, more aware. And so now I'm on the other side of that, and I can see I don't want to be impulsive like that anymore. I don't want to bottom out financially anymore. I don't want to have to go through this like intense cycle. So I better clean up those last little things, those last little weights, those last little disempowered threads in my own consciousness field, so that I can, as this new energy starts to fucking bombard more people in the collective like I've been bombarded, we can now have the anchored and the new frequency systems in place to support building a new, more functional, more efficient, and more harmonious system. That's what I feel is happening energetically. So it's happening, it's happening in the higher dimensions, or in the deeper, more grounded. It's happening kind of energetically, vibrational around us. And then more and more of us are feeling the tangible, very visceral, like anchoring into our bodies. And now it's anchored, basically. So it's exciting. It's fucking exciting. Like, I think a lot of us that are connecting here on these platforms, we've known this stuff like for a really long time. It's like our whole purpose on earth, every lifetime, has always been about like this shift, this awakening, this transformation. And it's finally here, and so we just keep shining, just keep being, just keep expressing. And that's the thing. If you're not in your power fully, if you're not really shining, if you're not really speaking your truth yet, then I'd encourage you to do so. It's kind of scary, but once you get going in the flow, you'll realize, this is always what I knew, and this is always what I wanted to do. And all the resources and all the things and all the people that you need to keep going will show up for you. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Nice interactions. Steve? I think your name was Steve Helm. Anyway, really nice to see you here, and I hope that was useful. Hope you have a lovely, lovely day, and Enjoy, you guys. Enjoy your freedom streak. Steven, nice to meet you here. I'll see you real soon. Take care.